Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Market Mantra, the program in which you give a complete update on the economic, business and stock market news of the day. Well, I am Nishit Kumar and with me is my co-anchor in Hindi, Vishal Sharma.
नमस्कार, मार्केट मंत्र में आप सभी का स्वागत। प्रतिदिन की तरह आज भी हम देश और दुनिया से आर्थिक, व्यापारिक और शेयर बाजार के ताजा समाचार आप तक लाएंगे और उन पर चर्चा भी करेंगे। चर्चा के लिए कार्यक्रम में आज हमारे साथ आर्थिक विशेषज्ञ भी ऑनलाइन जुड़ेंगे। सबसे पहले हेडलाइंस के साथ हैं निशित कुमार।
At the stock market, Sensex ends 91 points lower. Nifty sheds 20 points. Rupee weakens 8 paise against the dollar. Country's economy to maintain GDP growth of 9% each this fiscal and the next, forecasts the credit rating agency ICRA. And Brent crude oil futures continue to trade above the $79 per barrel.
बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज का सेंसेक्स से 91 अंक गिरकर हुआ बंद। निफ्टी 20 अंक नीचे आया। रुपया हुआ डॉलर के मुकाबले 8 पैसे कमजोर। क्रेडिट रेटिंग एजेंसी इकरा ने मौजूदा वित्त वर्ष और अगले वित्त वर्ष में देश के सकल घरेलू उत्पाद की वृद्धि दर 9% रहने का अनुमान व्यक्त किया और ब्रेंट कच्चे तेल की कीमतें $79 प्रति बैरल से ऊपर। सबसे पहले शेयर बाजार। बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज का सेंसेक्स आज 0.2% के नुकसान से 91 अंक लुढ़क कर 57,806 पर बंद हुआ। नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज का निफ्टी भी 0.1% की कमी से 20 अंक नीचे 17,214 दर्ज हुआ। व्यापक बाजार का प्रदर्शन सेंसेक्स से बेहतर रहा। बीएसई मिड कैप इंडेक्स में 0.1% और स्मॉल कैप इंडेक्स में 0.5% की बढ़त दर्ज हुई।
At the stock market, the Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange fell 91 points or 0.2% to end at 57,806 today in a thin trade. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange shed 20 points or 0.1% to 17,214. But the broader market outperformed the Sensex, with the BSE mid-cap index gaining 0.1% and the small-cap index rising 0.5%. Sectorally, on the Bombay Stock Exchange, the metal index was the leading loser, slipping 1%. The power index lost 0.7% and the utilities index fell 0.6%. And the BankX and the basic material index shed 0.4% each. But the healthcare index climbed 1.7% and the auto index rose 0.4%.
और बात घरेलू मुद्रा की करें तो अंतरबैंक विदेशी मुद्रा विनिमय बाजार में रुपया आज 8 पैसे कमजोर होकर $1 के मुकाबले 74 रुपए 73 पैसे के स्तर पर बंद हुआ। और शेयर बाजार के बारे में चर्चा के लिए हमारे साथ इस समय ऑनलाइन जोड़ रहे हैं बाजार विश्लेषक अविनाश गोरक्षकर। अविनाश जी, कार्यक्रम में आपका स्वागत।
हाँ, गुड इवनिंग
जी। पिछले 2 दिनों से जारी आज जो तेजी थी उस पर विराम सा लगता दिखा अविनाश जी, खास तौर पे जो आज बैंकिंग और आईटी और मेटल शेयरों में जो नुकसान देखने को मिला है, क्या कहेंगे आप इस गिरावट पर?
देखिए, मुझे लग रहा है कि मार्केट्स में गिरावट का रीजन एक है कि अभी वापस ओमिक्रॉन के केसेस बढ़ रहे हैं। स्पेशली जो दिल्ली और मुंबई में केसेस है वो काफी बढ़ रहे हैं। तो मार्केट्स को डेफिनेटली थोड़ी बहुत चिंता ये ओमिक्रॉन वायरस की भी है। दूसरी बात है कि रुपया कंटिन्यूसली वीक ट्रेंड दिखा रहा है। अमेरिकन डॉलर स्ट्रांग हो रहा है क्योंकि वहां की इकोनॉमी अच्छी तरह से परफॉर्म कर रही है और वीक रुपया इंडिया के लिए डेफिनेटली अच्छी बात नहीं है। उसके बाद क्रूड की कीमतों में भी काफी उछाल हमने 1-2 दिन पहले देखी थी। और सबसे बड़ी बात, यूएस का जो फेड टेपरिंग है वो जनवरी से शुरू होने वाला है। अभी हम दिसंबर खत्म ही करने वाले हैं। जनवरी के बाद मार्केट्स बहुत क्लोजली वॉच करेगा कि यूएस टेपरिंग कितना सिग्निफिकेंटली हो जाएगा। यूएस के फेड ने कहा है कि 2 इंटरेस्ट रेट्स वो 2022 में करेंगे। तो इंटरेस्ट रेट्स और इन्फ्लेशन ये भी काफी बड़े हेडविंड्स है। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि ये सारे फैक्टर्स अभी भी मार्केट्स पे छाए हुए हैं। तो इस कारण से आपको थोड़ी बिकवाली देखने को मिली। और सबसे बड़ी बात, एफआईआई लोगों की जो सेलिंग है वो अभी भी कंटिन्यूसली काफी बड़ी मात्रा में हो रही है। अभी तक इन्होंने करीबन 90,000 के ऊपर माल इंडिया में बेचा है। तो लग तो रहा है कि डेफिनेटली इस साल में इंडेक्स का जो मूवमेंट है और ये जो नियर टर्म का मूवमेंट है वो काफी वोलेटाइल रहेगा और यही सारे कारण मार्केट्स को थोड़े से ऊपरी लेवल तक जाने में थोड़े से अटकाने की कोशिश करें।
Even as we talk of the FIIs pulling out, Avinash, but there has been some murmurs, some talks of FIIs actually coming in the past a couple of days or a few sessions again amidst all this volatility. This indeed is a very positive sign amidst the gloom. So what factors, if at all, do you see in the FIIs looking once again back towards the Indian market?
Yeah, I think one thing is very important that 1 or 2 days of FI buying is not a completely clear indicator that the trend has changed. For the last 26 to 28 trading sessions, we have seen continuously FI selling. And there is no doubt that, FI selling will obviously, get little more accelerated when the US tapering starts. So my guess is that, we have to observe how the US tapering actually gets into action, from early January 2022, how interest rates get hiked up in US. So I think all macro-related factors are going to be very important. And as I mentioned to you earlier, the headwind which is there possibly for the Indian markets is also the weakening rupee. I think the rupee has significantly weakened against the rising dollar. So, as one point of time, it's very difficult to say when bigger flows of FIs will come to the market. But one thing is sure, whenever a large amount of liquidity gets sucked out of any, financial market, that definitely has an impact on the stock prices. So I think, apart from the Omicron virus, I think clearly the markets are looking at several other headwinds like inflation, interest rates, rising crude prices. So I think all these things, need to be digested by the markets initially. And probably, once these, headwinds are digested, some normalcy comes in, post the coronavirus, then I think you could possibly see the FI buying coming up again. But maybe the next couple of months are going to be pretty volatile. So I would be a little cautious. 1 or 2 days of inflows from the FIs is not going to change the story. So we still have to observe maybe a longer term trend as to whether the FIs can come back in a big way starting January.
So do you feel that in the absence of the FIIs kind of pumping in the money, the DIIs have the potential, the wherewithals to hold the market as into the present level? Do you see that happening in the coming times?
Yeah, I think DIIs have been buying continuously, as compared to the sell-off seen in the FIIs. But my sense is that, finally DII money are all funded by SIP flows. So, SIP flows is a function of the market. And unfortunately, retail investors in India clearly don't have a very long kind of time frame, when they do investments. Of course, SIPs have been increasing significantly. But near term, I think worries would continue. And I would say that despite, SIPs coming in, DIIs buying, if the FI sell-off continues, then the net result is that, the liquidity to some extent is taken out from the market. So I think probably you'll have to wait for some more time to ensure that, whether the retail money or the HNI money will continue to keep coming in mutual funds. Finally, SIPs are also a function of the market price. And whenever investors see that market prices are falling, some investors even, discontinue their SIP. So I think it's going to be a little tricky situation. But the next 3-4 months are very crucial, starting 2023.
जी अविनाश जी, और अगर हम शॉर्ट टर्म की बात करें तो ऐसे कौन से सेक्टर्स आप देखते हैं कि जहां पर अच्छी संभावनाएं वाले वो सेक्टर साबित हो सकते हैं निवेश के लिहाज से?
देखिए, मुझे लग रहा है कि जो एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेड कंपनीज है और बेसिकली जो कैपेक्स रिवाइवल वाली जो कंपनीज है, जैसे कि पिछले साल गवर्नमेंट ने जो बजट अनाउंस किया था वो बेसिकली एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर का बजट था. तो हमको लग रहा है कि इस साल भी बजट में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को बढ़ावा दिया जाएगा. तो जो भी कंपनी कैपेक्स मोड में है, खर्चा कर रही है कैपेक्स के लिए, वो डेफिनेटली वेल पोजीशन रहेगी. और इसमें कैपिटल गुड्स है, इसमें बेसिकली जो शुगर कंपनीज है जहाँ पे एथेनॉल की फैक्ट्री, एथेनॉल की कैपेसिटीज लगा रहे हैं, यहाँ पे निवेश के मौके बन सकते हैं. प्लस मैंने जैसे कहा कि आईटी सर्विसेज और जो बैंक और हाउसिंग फाइनेंस कंपनीज है, हमको लग रहा है कि यहाँ पे भी काफी अच्छा रुझान है. सबसे बड़ी बात, अगर इंटरेस्ट रेट थोड़े बढ़ते भी है तो ये सारे प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक, पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक, हाउसिंग फाइनेंस कंपनीज को बेनिफिट देगी. क्योंकि देखिए, राइजिंग इंटरेस्ट साइकिल में उनका भी मुनाफा बढ़ेगा. हालांकि थोड़ी बहुत कमजोरी डिमांड में होगी, बट अभी जो रियल एस्टेट में, कंस्ट्रक्शन में हमको एक्टिविटी दिख रही है, ये सारे जो कंपनीज है, बैंक्स है, हाउसिंग फाइनेंस कंपनीज है, उनको बेनिफिट मिलेगा. तो थोड़ा निवेश करने के मौके जरूर है, लेकिन आपको बहुत सावधानी के साथ सिलेक्टिव स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक निवेश करना है, क्योंकि अभी का जो लेवल है बाजार का वो काफी ऊपरी लेवल का है. तो ये साल जो 21 है, यहाँ पे तो बहुत सारा एप्रिसिएशन ऑलरेडी हो चुका है. तो 2022 में आपको बहुत स्पेसिफिक स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक काम करना पड़ेगा और काफी कॉशियसली मार्केट में आप जो भी इन्वेस्टमेंट है उसका प्लानिंग करके निवेश करना पड़ेगा.
And Avinash, what sectors do you see that they have been on the selling spree in the recent times?
I think clearly, my sense is that sectors like, which are still facing a lot of uncertainty due to COVID are going to underperform. I think just today, I was reading that the Delhi government has announced some further tightening measures. So probably, entertainment, media, aviation, travel and tourism services, these are all sectors which are going to be avoided, for the time being. In fact, we have been seeing a lot of selling in these companies. And of course, specialty chemicals, which very well in the last 12, 18 months, there are clear signs of rising commodity prices on the input side. So I think these would be sectors which are likely to, face definitely challenging headwinds, and I think investors should be cautious about these sectors.
And what do you have to say, as in we would like to understand about the realty sector, which was actually nicely picking up in the past few months, but suddenly with this Omicron variant and other headwinds as well, do you see this thing again kind of pulling it down once more?
No, I think, basically my understanding is that Omicron is a variant which is which is less dangerous than the Delta variant. And it's not, actually resulted in many deaths. In fact, the number of cases has increased, but the number of deaths reported are very minimal. So I would not be surprised that possibly, after maybe a couple of months, the kind of hesitancy which we have seen now in the real estate market may probably again, increase again. The big trigger for real estate in the last year was, very low interest rates. And obviously, if interest rates start moving again, then that could be a little bit of, pressure in demand for the real estate here. But we're basically saying, look at realty companies, which are not very highly leveraged and which have got a very strong order book, which gives them a very good kind of top-line visibility. So I think real estate will continue to do well, but it will be again on a selective basis. You'll have to see quality and the size of the order book and the, kind of track record of the, real estate builder, which, investors want to invest. But yes, real estate definitely has picked up after a long period of sluggishness, and I think definitely moderate returns can be expected in the coming.
जी अविनाश जी, वर्ष 2021 अब लगभग समाप्ति की ओर हम बढ़ रहे हैं। आपके नजरिए से अगर हम देखना चाहें तो जानना चाहें कि इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिहाज से, निवेश के लिहाज से, निवेश की दृष्टि से वर्ष 2021 को आप किस तरह आंकते हैं?
देखिए, मुझे लग रहा है कि निवेश के हिसाब से आपको इक्विटी में डेफिनेटली रीजनेबल रिटर्न की एक्सपेक्टेशन रखनी चाहिए, कि जैसे कि अब हम सभी जानते हैं कि 2021 में निफ्टी करीबन 35-40% बढ़ा है लो से। वो रिटर्न शायद आपको 22 में नहीं मिलेगा। आपको एक 14-15% अगर आप मार्केट में साल में कमाना चाहते हो तो इक्विटी आपको रीजनेबल रिटर्न जरूर दे सकता है, और आपको बहुत सावधानी के साथ और बहुत पेशेंस के साथ आपको पैसा लगाना है। ऐसा नहीं कि इक्विटी मार्केट्स में कोई बड़ी गिरावट या पैनिक सेल ऑफ आएगी, बट डेफिनेटली पिछले साल के रिटर्न के मुकाबले में ये साल थोड़ा सा मॉडरेट होगा। तो उस हिसाब से आप पोर्टफोलियो बनाइए और लंबी अवधि के लिए निवेश करिए। इक्विटी में पैसा लॉन्ग टर्म में ही बनता है, शॉर्ट टर्म में या छोटी में पैसा बनाने वाले जो इन्वेस्टर्स होते हैं, शायद उनके लिए 2022 इतना बड़ा साल ना।
जी अविनाश जी, कार्यक्रम में हमसे जुड़ने के लिए और बात करने के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और अब रुक करते हैं एशियाई शेयर बाजारों का।
But before that, it's time to slip into a quick commercial break. Please stay tuned because we have lots coming up on the other side.
बड़े भैया, इस कहावत को जरा एक्सप्लेन तो करिए कि आंख झपक जाए और अवसर बीत जाए।
अरे छोटे, मतलब ये कि अगर आप निवेश करने के बाद उसे भूल जाएंगे तो उसे बेहतर बनाने के मौके आके चले जाएंगे।
वो तो ये बात है।
हाँ छोटे, निवेश के बाद उस पर निगरानी रखिए, आंखें मूंद कर सोते मत रहिए।
बड़े
छोटे,
भारत के सबसे बड़े स्टॉक एक्सचेंज NSE द्वारा निवेशकों के हित में जारी।
मार्केट मंत्र में वापस आप सभी का स्वागत। अब बात करते हैं वैश्विक बाजारों की। उसमें सबसे पहले एशियाई शेयर बाजार। अधिकतर एशियाई शेयर बाजारों में आज गिरावट रही। वैश्विक स्तर पर कोरोना वायरस के ओमिक्रॉन वेरिएंट के मामले बढ़ने से निवेशकों ने सतर्कता बरती। जापान का निकेई सूचकांक 0.6% लुढ़क गया। दक्षिण कोरिया का कोस्पी और चीन का शांघाई कंपोजिट इंडेक्स दोनों 0.9% की गिरावट में रहे। हांगकांग का हैंगसेंग 0.8% फिसल गया, लेकिन सिंगापुर का स्ट्रेट्स टाइम्स सूचकांक 0.3% की बढ़त में रहा। यूरोपीय बाजारों की बात करें तो यूरोपीय शेयर बाजारों में अंतर्दिवसीय कारोबार में लंदन के FTSE 100 में 1.1% की तेजी रही। फ्रांस का CAC 40 मामूली बढ़त में रहा, लेकिन जर्मनी के डैक्स में 0.2% की गिरावट रही।
And moving on to the U.S. markets, on the Wall Street, key indices ended mixed, with the S&P 500 closing slightly lower after hitting a record intraday high yesterday, as the 4-day rally lost steam in thin trading and investors weighed Omicron-driven travel disruptions and store closures. Apple shut its New York stores due to surging cases. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 96 points or 0.3% to end at 36,398, but the S&P 500 lost 5 points to close at 4,786. And the Nasdaq Composite dropped 90 points or 0.6% to 15,781. And in the company news, Boeing company rose 1.5% as Indonesia lifted a ban on its 737 MAX 3 years after the crash of one of the aircraft. And now to discuss the stories, we are joined in by Senior Business Analyst Jayanta Das. Jayanto, welcome to the show once again.
Thank you very much.
So, Jayanto, now with this new Omicron variant making waves, there has also been talks of the central bank, the RBI, kind of continuing with the current accommodative stance or policy. Do you see this thing happening actually?
Well, the chances of it happening right now are a bit more, but although I believe that given an inflationary economy, there were some interventions which was necessary. However, with Omicron coming back, I guess the interventions have to pause a bit. There are fears of, an overheating economy, post-Omicron period, if the Omicron issue doesn't linger for a long time. But I do believe that the status quo would be maintained by RBI at this point of time.
But if you factor in the inflation thing, already we are not in a very comfortable position at the moment.
Yeah.
So how do you think that the bankers would tackle this, or how do you think it would be going in the coming times?
Well, as I said, you have to wait through a status quo at this point of time, given the superbly, or should I say, the hourly changing scenario which is happening in terms of cases. I think since in the afternoon at 3 o'clock till now, the news items also have changed in terms of the numbers which have been galloping really ahead. So despite the inflation fears, on us at this point of time, maybe if Omicron wouldn't happen, RBI would have surely taken some steps, but I don't see it coming immediately.
And let's talk of the banking sector. How do you see the banking, we saw the banking nifty in the recent times. How do you see this playing out in the near future?
Well, the last quarter has got fabulous results for banking. I think one of the best in the last 6 years in terms of growth. There has been a lot of cleanup happening in terms of numbers, in terms of books and all. And there has also been a lot of, mergers, remergers and all which are happening, as we are aware, from time to time. I do believe that it's one of the strongest sectors at this point of time, to take the India story forward. And I do believe that for a retail investor, you have excellent options in the PSU sector, as well as in the private bank sector. What we have to be careful is, obviously, trying to pick out which right banks to invest in, which aligns with your investment goals. Having said so, we must also fairly put in briefly about the issues which are happening in the RBL Bank, which obviously, some concern out there, which RBI has tried to resolve by changing the management and things like that. But then, as I said, overall, the banking sector has been doing extremely well. There would be some intra-week fluctuations and volatility and changes and all. But I strongly believe one should not move away from banking sector if there's investor over there.
And do you see any change in the U.S. Fed's policy in the next few months coming, especially with this Omicron thing rising now more?
Yeah, so now actually, we are in a dilemma in terms of understanding what the Fed would do from here. The news was quite prominently developing last 3 weeks, whereby they said by March they would like to withdraw some of the stimulus factors because of COVID, which were initially given to the economy. Now, once again, Omicron coming back, and I guess as we speak, there are 10 to 15,000 new cases happening in the US per day. And you have also spoke out in your news right now of Apple closing down its stores in New York and things like that. But what's worrisome is the huge number of flight cancellations. because every time a crash or a meltdown or even a downside happens, it starts or triggers from how the aviation sector is panning up in the US. So if you look back for the last 3 decades, you would see as soon as the aviation sector triggers the fall, the rest fall in like a domino. So with thousands of flights getting cancelled every day for the last 2 days, I think we have a matter of concern. But coming back to a question, for them also, just like us about controlling inflation, for the US government also now it's a call. For the Fed, it's a call to take when and how they would like to withdraw the stimulus. But I don't think anyone would like to talk on them right now. Although the talk was quite, quite prevalent even 10 days ago in terms of what the Fed would do, the Wall Street brokers, the bankers, the analysts, they were all talking when the stimulus withdrawal will start happening. And we also saw some market reactions to that. But I think right at this moment as we speak, no one will be talking about them right now.
So, given the choppy situation we find ourselves in, where do you see the investment actually? This is for our listeners. Where do you kind of advise them to have their investments going? And also the second part is it going to be once again the gold thing which is coming back in currency, which would attract investment?
Well, gold has had its cyclical movement. I mean, obviously it was not the preferred choice, say 6 months ago. It has been trending a while of late, and the traditional belief has been if stock market slump from here, or if we will weaken from here, maybe gold will have a chance to come back. But then I also have a contrarian view, which I spoke very briefly in the afternoon show of yours, where I said that, during the second wave, when Delta was creating a rage in India, stock markets were booming from week to week. So, it's a very, uncertain and unpredictable zone of how stocks react. What we do know is the Sensex is extremely insensitive to what's happening on the ground. But at the same time, it's, not non-insulated. So, we have to understand these aspects. And in terms of investment flow, I guess the old adage remains, falling markets, rising markets, you keep your investment strategies and policies completely aligned to what your overall expectations are in terms of your investment basket. So look always for opportunities to buy as well as opportunities to sell, and that's how you move on in terms of investment decision.
It's time once again for a quick commercial break, but please do stay tuned in because we have more and more coming up on the other side.
Yeah.
बड़े भैया इस कहावत को जरा एक्सप्लेन तो करिए कि नाच ना जाने आंगन टेढ़ा।
सिंपल है छोटे, इन्वेस्टमेंट डांस की तरह है। अगर ध्यान से सोच समझ कर करोगे तो मस्त रहोगे, और अगर लापरवाही की बाजू वाले से भिड़ोगे।
ओ तो ये बात है।
हाँ छोटे, इन्वेस्ट करने से पहले पूरी जानकारी जुटाइए और बाजू वाले की नहीं, अपनी अकल लगाइए।
बड़े भैया
अरे छोटे,
भारत के सबसे बड़े स्टॉक एक्सचेंज NSE द्वारा निवेशकों के हित में
मार्केट मंथ में एक बार आप सभी का फिर से स्वागत। रुक करते हैं अगली खबर की ओर। क्रेडिट रेटिंग एजेंसी इक्रा ने वित्त वर्ष 2021-22 और अगले वित्त वर्ष 2022-23 में देश की सकल घरेलू उत्पाद GDP की वास्तविक वृद्धि दर 9% रहने का अनुमान लगाया है। रेटिंग एजेंसी की रिपोर्ट में कहा गया है कि कोविड के नए वेरिएंट ओमिक्रॉन को लेकर चिंताओं के बावजूद अर्थव्यवस्था की वृद्धि दर ऊंची रहने का अनुमान है। रिपोर्ट के अनुसार अर्थव्यवस्था के संगठित और असंगठित क्षेत्रों में के आकार की रिकवरी देखने को मिल सकती है और चालू वित्त वर्ष में 9% की वृद्धि दर बने रहने का अनुमान है। कोविड संक्रमण के प्रसार को रोकने के लिए कई राज्यों द्वारा लगाई जा रही पाबंदियों से आर्थिक रिकवरी पर असर पड़ सकता है। इससे विशेष रूप से चालू वित्त वर्ष की चौथी तिमाही में संपर्क गहनता यानी कॉन्टैक्ट इंटेंसिव जो सेक्टर्स हैं वो प्रभावित हो सकते हैं।
Well, Janta, this report of ICRA indeed is very encouraging amidst the gloom, with the GDP likely to remain at 9% or so in the fiscal 2022-23, even as we encounter this new Omicron variant. But obviously, we'll also be seeing a temporary interruption in the economic activity and recovery again, taking that much more time to come back on tracks. So do you really see this ICRA report holding that much water under the current circumstances?
Well, I think the news which was just read specifically spoke of ICRA having accounted for Omicron, hurdle out there in the overall economic analysis of forecasting what they look forward to. What I believe is we've seen a fairly buoyant economy in the last 6 months. Post the Delta variant settle down in India, and India could come back or limp back to normalcy completely, if not fully. But having taken a cue from here, I do believe that the threat of Omicron virus at this point of time is still, in terms of data, is still not very deep. In terms of understanding, is still not very deep. And we are having various, optics in terms of, healthcare workers, in terms of experts, speaking of how bad or good the Omicron virus can stay in terms of affecting economies. I believe ICRA's report obviously would be well researched, going by its name and well surveyed and all. But, between 8 to 9% levels of growth, if it's maintained over the next 1.5 years, 2 years as it projects, it's fairly okay. It's not something to be really wonderful of, because let's not forget the base also has been pretty low last year, on which we're looking forward to growth. What's important to understand is how governments, in this case our state governments and central government, are able to steer, the nation out of this present developing crisis. It's not a full-blown crisis here. So that will to a great extent determine to us, because the first wave was a complete shock for us in terms of lockdowns and our industry, almost stopped everywhere. The second wave, at least while the devastations was much more severe, but industries and governments were much more better to face it.
Jayant. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We look forward to joining you again in some time. And moving on to oil, the global crude oil prices edged higher today as industry data showed a decline in the U.S. inventories, boosting demand sentiment. So Brent crude oil futures gained 26 cents to trade at $79.20 a barrel. U.S. crude futures rose 16 cents to $76.14 a barrel.
और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजारों से कमजोर संकेतों से दिल्ली सराफा बाजार में आज सोना 216 रुपए सस्ता होकर 47,010 रुपए प्रति 10 ग्राम पर आ गया। चांदी भी 179 रुपए टूटकर 61,348 रुपए प्रति किलो के स्तर पर आ गई। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजार में सोना मंदी के साथ $1,804 प्रति औंस पर कारोबार कर रहा था।
And before we close, a reminder of the headlines once again. At the stock market, Sensex ends 91 points lower. Nifty sheds 20 points. Rupee weakens 8 paise against the dollar. Country's economy to maintain GDP growth of 9% each this fiscal, and the next forecast the credit rating agency ICRA. And the Brent crude oil futures continue to trade above $79 a barrel. And that's it in this edition of Market Mantra. This is Nishit Kumar, along with me, our Hindi anchor Vishal Sharma, saying adios till we meet again the next time. Goodbye.
नमस्कार।
बड़े भैया इस दोहे को जरा एक्सप्लेन तो करिए कि बिना विचारे जो करे सो पाछे पछताए, काम बिगाड़े आपनो जग में हो फसाए।
सिंपल है छोटे कि बिना विचार किए अगर आप इन्वेस्टमेंट करेंगे तो बाद में पछताएंगे और लोग हंसेंगे।
ओ तो ये बात है।
हाँ छोटे, लोगों की बातों में मत पड़िए, इन्वेस्टमेंट सोच समझ कर आज से ही करिए।
बड़े भैया
अरे छोटे,
भारत के सबसे बड़े स्टॉक एक्सचेंज NSE द्वारा निवेशकों के हित में जारी।
Market Mantra brought to you by
National Stock Exchange.
Market Mantra.